So today we're going to be looking at the layers of the earth. So we're going to be doing doodle notes. These doodle notes, it is important that you, at the bottom of the page, you have your bottom line that has the 4 lines to write under it, because we're going to be making a scale model of the earth using these notes. The line down the middle divides into 2 different ways that we organize the layers of the earth. The first one is compositional. Compositional layers. The other side is your mechanical layers. The compositional layers are the easy layers. They're the layers you guys probably already know. What are some words that have to do with the layers of the earth? Outer core, inner core, those are mechanical layers. Lithosphere, that's a mechanical layer. No, hemisphere would be half of the earth. Mesosphere. Oh, look at you cheating on that. Opened up your drawing. What about the compositional layers? What about the easy ones? Asthenosphere, that's a mechanical layer. Still cheating, still using your notes I gave you. Inner core, still cheating. That was already said. What about the 3 easy, most basic layers? What's the outermost layer? Crust, mantle, core. Thank goodness. Those are the easy. Those are the compositional layers. So we'll start with the compositional layers. Yeah, this is going to be in color. 5 colors. Brown, red, orange, orange, and yellow. Okay, so we're going to do this to scale, which means the thickness of each color represents how thick the layer is. So in your compositional layers, I'm just going to color just the top line brown, because this is the thinnest layer. The thinnest layer. And that thin layer is called the crust. The crust is between 5 and 70 kilometers thick. There are 2 types of crust. The continental and the oceanic. Which one do you think is thicker, continent or ocean? Ocean. Ooh, if you say continent, raise your hand. All right, if you say ocean, raise your hand. See, so more of y'all say ocean, but what you're forgetting is that the ocean crust has a bunch of water on it. And the crust is just the seafloor. The ocean crust is the thinner. So the continental crust can be between 10 and 70 kilometers thick, which is between like 3.5 and 65 miles, 37 miles thick. And the oceanic crust is between 5 and 10 kilometers thick. What's the next layer called?
The mantle.
The mantle. The mantle. I'm writing in red, but the mantle is going to be orange, like when we color it. The mantle is 2,850 kilometers thick. So to do that to scale, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 1/2. 9 and 1/2. And yeah, we're going to cover over the crust information because I don't write small enough to write on that brown line. Hey, I learned how to focus my camera manually. Yeah, I know. No more out of focus notes. All right, last layer for compositional.
Mr. Harris,
What?
whenever you don't disconnect with you.
No. I told you no off topic today. The innermost layer is called the core. And the core is 3,500 kilometers thick. To get to the very center of the Earth is 6,400 kilometers. And it's red, before you ask, because everybody wants to say, what color is that? It's red. Yes, it's red. It's the projector does a horrible job with some colors. No. No. All right, so there's the easy ones. Those are the ones you should be familiar with. That's the elementary school. You can see my arrows from the rock cycle. You can see my arrows. It's great. Don't copy the arrows. I had a student during first period start to copy the arrows that were showing through. He's like, "Wait, we're not supposed to copy those?" No.
Why are those on?
Because of these. All right.
You knew that.
So it's going to be really confusing because I bet you the microphone can't pick up y'all's questions. So whoever's watching this, like at home, will think that I'm crazy. All right, mechanical layers. First layer is half of a line now. I know, right? Fancy.
Or no, it's different.
You're going to learn some Latin today.
That's not Latin. That's the same thing. French and they both start with an L.
No, actually, they're not the same thing. They both start with an L, French and Latin. Oh, my goodness. All right. Okay, so this top layer is stone. It's rock. The Latin word for rock is not stone. The Latin word for rock is litho. Oh, now it makes sense. And it's in a sphere shape. The lithosphere. Oh my goodness. All right, so the lithosphere includes the crust. Oh. Why do I have so little space? And top mantle. It's because I didn't write the word "the" before. Includes the crust and the top mantle. Next week when we start Unit 7, we will no longer refer to it as the lithosphere. We will refer to the lithosphere as tectonic plates.
Those big moving things that make earthquakes.
Yes, those big movie things that make earthquakes. Among many other things, but yes. All right. Did you just say the moon makes light that bounces off the sun at night? That's what you said. That is not what you meant.
Wait, the sun thing?
All right, so I can color the next layer. The next layer is 2.5 lines thick. I can go ahead and color it because I can't write in that one because I already wrote. So we're going to write below it and label it. This is the one that if you stop saying the word right at the beginning, you'll get in trouble because you're cussing.
Uh-oh.
But that actually helps with pronunciation because the word is kind of funny looking.
Machuvalis.
It is the astheno.
I get it.
It is the asthenosphere. Asthenosphere. No, yeah, you gotta be ready to explain what it is, man.
I'm gonna bring
What'd you call me? Oh no. I called you the asthenosphere?
Every day, just say
All right. So the asthenosphere is 660 kilometers thick. 660 kilometers thick.
I'm gonna write 2 C's instead of
So this layer is solid, but it's not. It's kind of weird solid. It's not like rock. Have any of you never played with silly putty?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, so this layer is a lot like silly putty, or as I would call it, I would say that it is solid-ish. Solid-ish. It's like silly putty.
Yes.
And since it's like silly putty, it can move. This is the layer that moves, that makes the plates move, that causes earthquakes, as Davis pointed out. So here we go. If you remember back to Unit 5, which was the transfer of heat, you had 3 words. You had convection, conduction, and radiation. Which one of those was mixing? Convection. What direction does warm go? So warm goes up, and cool goes down.
Wait, I have a question.
What's your question?
So you know how there's you know the core at the bottom of the earth, right? You know how it's called?
Yep.
Does heat come from the bottom of the earth too?
Yeah. From the center of the earth.
Well, that's pretty good.
So the asthenosphere has convection. So the asthenosphere has.
Oh, you spelled convection.
Oh yeah, I use fancy convection. I used arrows.
I didn't realize that convection on the like convection. I didn't realize that was C. I thought it was like parentheses.
So the asthenosphere has convection in it. So it's mixing. It's moving. As magma gets close to the center of the earth, it heats up and it rises. Not really. It's more complicated.
See, when big melty rock comes out.
There's actually 2 ways volcanoes are made. One is a hot spot. One is with plate tectonic boundaries, which we'll learn about next week.
They split apart. And what color is it? Hawaii.
All right. So Hawaii is like the hot spot. It's just like a weak spot in the oceanic crust that it leaks.
Yeah.
I mean, for lack of a better word, it leaks. That's why Hawaii is in the middle of the Pacific Plate. It's not near the edge at all. Whereas almost every other volcano, which is called the Ring of Fire, is around the edge of the Pacific Plate. All right. So our next layer. Our next layer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yes.
And it's orange. It's orange. So the Latin word for middle is meso. Mesosphere.
No, we got that from the
I know, from the little drawing. The mesosphere. The mesosphere. The mesosphere is 2,240 kilometers thick. The mesosphere is, and this is important because you have a goopy moving layer, and then we're going to have another goopy moving layer, but the mesosphere is actually solid. It's solid rock. It is hot enough to be liquid, but because of the pressure above it, it is a solid. The what? I don't know why y'all are talking about anything blue. It's orange. That's just plain orange. Yeah, you can sharpen it in the sharpener. All right. As we continue our trip down to the center of the earth, which you're going to have to like talk about tomorrow, but we'll get there. The rest of this week is a project. As we continue our journey to the center of the earth, we reach the core, and the core is broke up into two different parts.
Yes, the inner core and the outer core.
I know, it's very difficult, right? So the outer core is about 2,000 kilometers thick. It's 2,000 kilometers thick. It is special because it is unique. It's not silly putty. The outer core is the only liquid layer. It is the only liquid layer. It is so deep and so hot, the iron and the nickel that it's made of is liquid. There's not enough pressure to force it to solid yet. The core is solid, and the core spins inside of the liquid. The inner core is solid. That spinning of the inner core generates our magnetic field. The magnetic field is more or less the force field, the shields that protect us from the sun. If our core stops spinning, the magnetic field would collapse and, well, we'd cease to exist.
What do you mean by
We'd be
that?
toasty, we'd be cooked.
Spicy was saying that
You can't dig through. You can't dig through all the way to the.
No, yeah, you can't dig all the way through. If you've ever heard of the Aurora Borealis, the northern lights, that is actually particles from the sun interacting with our magnetic field around the earth that makes those colors. So anytime we have an Aurora Borealis event, the sun is more or less attacking the earth and we're defending ourselves. Yes, ma'am, yes.
What do you mean by yes?
What do you mean yet?
You said yes.
Yet, when did I say yet?
When you said.
Yes, they had.
Oh, it doesn't have enough pressure yet.
Yeah, oh, because we're going to get to the inner core.
Oh.
All right, so the outer core is iron and nickel. It's mostly iron and nickel. It is made up of a bunch of other stuff.
How do you know?
How do we know? Because when you pass seismic waves through different materials, they travel at different speeds and rates. And so,
Well, it was an
That's cool. And you can be like, we made
metal.
what?
What if it was an unidentified metal that's in there?
Because you can identify metals. It's the same way that we can identify what other planets are made of that we can't actually land on.
Wait, we do that?
Yes.
No.
Yes, we do that. All right, so the outer core. This is red, orange. Red, orange.
Red one.
If you count 4 up from the bottom, you have the outer core.
Then can I use like my rider of red?
No. Inner. Yes. Okay. Liver air, nice pink.
I guess. I mean, pink is okay. I don't have pink because I don't have Rose Art colored pencils. I have Crayola. And Crayola doesn't come with pink. Until you get the bigger boxes. Alright. Last layer. It is the inner core. But the inner core, this is kind of important. It's under super high pressure. It is under so much pressure that the liquid iron and nickel that the outer core is made out of turns to a solid. So that makes our inner core solid. So the inner core is 1,300 kilometers thick. 1,300 kilometers thick. It is solid metal. Metal. And we know that it's solid metal because it is what generates our magnetic field. It is mostly made out of iron and nickel, just like the outer core. And it's red!
More red? Wow. We're down like 15 of these red. And then just do yellow.
Well, you should have been following along with the colors I was using, so yellow would have been the Asthenoster.
But I don't have orange pink. I mean orange red, that's why I did.
You could have mixed red and orange together.
Red orange.
That makes red orange.
I'm easy.
We have 3 sentences left to write. The 3 sentences have 18 total words. 18.
18 words.
Where are we supposed to write that? Well, I'm glad you asked.
Oh, the other side.
On the other side.
It look like the mildew.
What?
Mildew?
Because I already went through this. I set the Lysol rag on y'all's notebook by accident, and it got it wet. It's not mildew though. It's just water stains. All right. So if you've glued your earth at the top of the page, you're going to write underneath it. If you glued it in the middle of the page, you might want to put the first sentence above it and the other 2 below it. But these 3 sentences go around this earth somewhere. So the first sentence. So, oh yeah, hey, this is the other thing. I can tell you that these 3 sentences came from 3 test questions. These are just random test questions that they threw on the district exam last year. I can almost guarantee you'll see at least 2 of them on the next district test this year. And it's about elements. So first up, the crust. The crust contains more silicon than other elements. And the crust is actually 15%. 15% silicon. Sentence 2. That's 10 words, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm sorry, that's 8 words. I have 10 left. All right. Earth is 30% oxygen, including the atmosphere, atmosphere. So if you include all the water, which is H2O, and all the atmosphere, which has the oxygen we breathe, Earth is 30% oxygen. 4 words left. The core is 35% iron. So, yesterday, y'all did this, right? We have the little flat. So, the piece on the back, is the compositional layers. So you would label this core, mantle, and then crust is that tiny little line up there. So these 2 models need to be color-coded just like we color-coded these. So on the compositional layers, that means the crust is brown, the mantle is orange, and the core is red. If you use different colors than those, make them match.
I know.
Is that orange?
That's orange. It matches this.
It looks like
I know.
It does not look like.
Yes,
Okay, it does. It does look like brown on the projector.
I thought it was brown.
But see, over here on the monitor, it doesn't look as brown. It still looks kind of brown.
like a light. And then that.
Wouldn't that be a tan?
No.
Yeah.
A light brown is a tan?
Well, that's not peach.
Nobody said peach. Don't bring peach into this.
No, I'm talking about.
And then your other side is the mechanical layers. So you're going to color them the same as your notes. And this is why we glued this in yesterday, because coloring this wet would be awful.
Quit.
Wet?
What color is the core?
The core is red. It's the same color. Hey, Moses, it's whatever color you colored it over here. It is not mahogany. That is solid mahogany.
What's mahogany?
That is mahogany.
What's mahogany? Look it up.
Anybody know that reference?
Harry Potter. Yes.
No, it's Hunger Games.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. The Hunger Games is too weird for you.
I never watched it. Mahogany is weird.
You see, that's why you shouldn't speak.
Who, me? I shouldn't speak?
No, her. She said the Hunger Games is too weird for her.
You weirdo.
What?
Who? Wait, no.
They put a bunch of people in a last alive battle.
Alright, hang on. So, once you finish coloring the layers, you need to go back to your earth and color in the ocean's blue and the earth, like the land green or brown. I haven't done that yet. So, tomorrow we're going to be starting a project. And y'all get more details about that tomorrow.